Here we go.
Welcome,
All
everyone.
right.
Oh, go ahead.
We are joined. No, you're good. We're joined by very special guests today from a show that we're obsessed with, that we know you are too, Seeking Sister Wife. We're joined by Steven and Brenda. We're so excited. How are you guys doing?
Hey guys, we're doing great.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, we're excited.
Thank you.
So we've interviewed a lot of people, but this is our first polygamous couple we've ever interviewed. So it's a bucket list item for us. So we wanted to start kind of just foundationally. How did you guys get on the show and decide that this is something you wanted to pursue?
Boy, the show, I mean, really, they reached out to us. We were a member of a number of different online, Facebook groups and everything with, polygamous families, and we just got reached out to. And to be honest with you, they reached out to Brenda first.
Yeah, they reached out to me and I saw it and I was like, what is this? Is this spam? And I just like left him on red. I was like, I don't want to be part of any of this because it's like TV. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot do something like that. And so 2 days later, he reached out to Steve.
Yeah, so they reached out to me and I thought I was just going to play along with this. Let's see where this goes. And he's like, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call right now so you can see I'm real and this is what we are. So we did. And it was interesting because one of the things that he said on that first call was, the reason that we reached out to you guys is because you just seem like a normal family.
Yeah.
He goes, so that's kind of who we want to follow.
Yeah, like so actual real stories.
Are you online as showing a presence with a third person in the relationship, or you're just kind of there saying we are open to this lifestyle?
Yeah, we were just saying that we're open to the lifestyle. I mean, at the time we were dating April. So I mean, we were with somebody, but yeah, I mean, really, we didn't post much on that site.
Yeah.
Any of the sites because they're kind of crazy, but we're there.
Yeah. You kind of just creep and watch what happens.
Exactly.
So how did you have conversations? I imagine that maybe, I don't know how publicly you live, your polygamous lifestyle, or if it's something that's a little more close to the vest, but how did you guys come to the decision to actually like show your story on television once you were approached?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason that we did it is because we saw the show Seeking Sister Wife. And I mean, I'm sure if you're watching reality and you're involved with that kind of stuff, there's, the polygamous lifestyle is not very public. So there's not a lot of people that we know that are in the lifestyle or are public with the lifestyle. So sometimes when you run into an issue and you don't know what to say or don't know what to do, you don't have anybody to turn to. And the first couple seasons of the show, I mean, really kind of spoke to us and helped us be like, Brenda would be like, that's how I feel right there. I just couldn't put it into words, but that's how I was feeling.
It opened up a lot of communication. So when we got approached about the show, like I love reality TV, but I'd never seen Seeking Sister Wife. So we're like, okay, we're gonna maybe be part of this. So let's just watch it. And it just like, it was so helpful to our relationship just because like we said, the Facebook pages weren't really giving us that support that we were looking for. And where this show really made us feel like, okay, there's other people that are like what we're looking for. And so it was just what we wanted to do too in return is like have people like open discussions about our life as well, and it could help somebody else that's maybe one family, but at least be there for support.
Yeah. Have you been reached out to by a lot of people like online and stuff who are like, oh my God, your story? Like, are you getting a lot of that on social media and other ways?
Yeah. I mean, our inboxes are full of people that are like, you speak to us and, we didn't know who else. And it's so cool to see the story out there and we just couldn't talk. So that part's been really good.
Are you getting offers for a third in the DMs?
Are you getting
sliding into the DMs?
And a fourth and a fifth and a sixth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just line it up.
I mean, you have your pick.
It's so easy, right? Everyone just...
Right. It's simple. Steve, how did you decide, like, how did this come to you that this was something you wanted to pursue, like originally when you were married and then Brenda came into the picture? Like, how did that transition happen to you from being in a single relationship to this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was married before and we were actually living in Houston at the time. And we were out at a bar in Houston and we met Brenda and we just started talking to her because she was wearing a JJ Watt jersey and I'm a big JJ Watt fan. I'm like, hey, this is cool. This girl's into football and this bar's kind of lame. So we just kind of hung out there and we're talking with her. And then we left. And then my wife at the time contacted her And they just started reaching out to each other and going out and going to lunch. And then they're like, hey, Steve, why don't you join us? And we just all just started hanging out together.
Yeah.
So it was
As
like truly a
friends.
natural evolution. Like it wasn't like you guys were out at the bar going, ooh, we're interested in another wife.
No.
It just like,
No. And I mean, we
Yeah, it
never
was just
thought that.
a friendship. Like
Yeah.
they were new. She was home a lot. I'm home a lot. He's traveling. So we just sparked up a conversation. I didn't
Yeah.
really think nothing was going to come of it. It's like, okay, I'll, see them here and there, just, other friends to have. But we just really connected, her and I, and it just evolved from there.
When you
so
met
the
Steven,
women.
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm
when you
just
met
wondering.
Steven, did it feel different when you met him as to another husband that you've met, just a friend of a husband? Did it seem special?
Yeah, it was different just because of the way both of them approached me. It wasn't like sleazy or creepy or anything. It felt very comfortable. They're both there talking to me. So it was just natural. It was very comfortable. Like it was just not like kind of like a husband trying to be on the side or anything like that, because I would have shut that down. But just with her being there, it just made it seem like, oh, okay, these are just really sweet people that are new in town.
And
Were you
you didn't
attracted
like,
to the-
yeah. Were
Yeah.
you like, were you attracted to Steven immediately or did you see
and his
him as
wife
like
and his wife?
half of
Yeah.
a couple?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't think about it like sexually or anything. But I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a really great looking couple. Both of them are very gorgeous people.
It
Yeah.
never
And
crossed
how
your
did-
mind, huh, Brenda?
No, I've never, ever. I've always been monogamous. I had just had a separation from my first marriage. So I was just,
Okay.
open to life and see what's out there, and didn't have anything in mind, or especially something like this.
Yeah. And how did it go from like friendship to, okay, now we're going to be like a plural family? How did you get
When
from
did you
there
have
to there?
the conversation with your ex-wife, Stephen?
There never really was a conversation. It was kind of just naturally happened. And
Yeah.
we, probably about a year after we met, maybe
Yeah.
about a year, we were sitting out on the back patio at our house and we're all just talking, laughing, and they were making plans to do something. And I just kind of said, I go, are we dating? And that was like kind of how it started with that. And then of course we thought we're trailblazers. Nobody does this.
Yeah,
kind
we're
of
like
stuff.
Googling, what do we
Yeah.
call this? What is this?
But what
Like,
made you think it
what?
was dating versus just a friendship, though? It was just a feeling.
It was just a feeling because there was a time where Brenda and her would go out and they would do stuff, and Brenda and I would go out and do stuff, and Brenda
Mhm.
and myself and my ex-wife would go out, and it felt like dating because I mean at some point, I mean honestly, right, I mean when you get to a certain age, guys and girls can't really be friends, just friends,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
when you start having that kind of relationship with that person, you're like, well, maybe there's something more here, but I don't know exactly what that is right now.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you
So
know
it's
that'd
just
be okay with your
wild.
wife, though?
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest things in this kind of communication is you got to talk a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you do is like, okay, you say that and everybody laughs and like, okay, but then we're like, okay, but seriously though,
Yeah.
how does this work?
And her and I
Yeah.
had conversations one-on-one without Steve, without his influence.
Okay.
Sure. She was on the same page at her pace. Whoever was the slowest at the relationship, just trying to get everybody comfortable. If it wasn't going to work, we were just going to stop right there. But
Yeah.
it was just a slow pace relationship, and we just grew together. And I mean, yeah, a lot of talking.
Wow.
Okay.
So when things like, you become a plural family and then things fall apart, did you guys ever have a conversation of like, ooh, let's just be the two of us, or you both were really interested in like continuing to find another
It's
person?
funny that her and I had that conversation, and we always said if this ever fell apart, her and I would continue on as best friends and raise the kids, and we would just kick Steve out. That was
so you were ready to kick him out.
Yeah.
I was always
Because her and I were really close. I mean, I was still living in Houston. They had moved, and her and I would just have long phone calls. And when I was there, the majority of my time was with her, being home with the kids. I would get a rental car or use their car and take the kids out, and we were just always together. We had like our favorite spot to eat for lunches. I mean, we were very close. So yeah, it was always like girl team and no boys allowed if it ever fell apart.
Was your relationship sexual, like you
Geneva,
and the
I
other
think-
wife? I knew you were thinking that. Like, are you
You don't have to
attract- I
answer
guess
it, but was there
you
ever?
don't have to answer,
yeah.
but are you attracted to women? I guess, like, is that an appeal to you?
Did that ever happen?
Before I met her, I mean, there wasn't that with her. During the relationship, we were not. It was just purely just her and I, a friendship.
Yeah. Okay.
So you
'Cause
guys
that
would
seemed like-
separate into different rooms if that were happening, or
You weren't
If
a
there
three
were-
bed people, want three people in one bed, like another
I
couple.
mean, if we were all watching TV, like a movie,
Yeah.
and we were like drinking and we fell asleep in the same bed, cool. But if not, I would stay in one of the kids' rooms and they stayed in their bedroom.
okay.
So my question was actually when you got divorced from your first wife, and then you and Brenda, so Brenda and Steve, you two were together. Did you ever think like, "Ooh, this is good with just the two of us," or you were still interested in pursuing like finding another wife?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to kind of take a step back for when the separation happened, because that's kind of important in the story. So, I mean, with this kind of lifestyle, obviously not everybody accepts it. And there were a lot of people that we considered friends that were very negative against it. And my ex-wife, even though she was happy and things were okay, she just couldn't take people constantly telling her, this is wrong. This is against the Bible. This is against religion. This is a sin. You shouldn't be doing this. And that's she just couldn't take it anymore. By people.
That's what it was.
So, I mean, and it's awful because, even look back at it and say, how can people who can see somebody they're just happy and they're just living their life and they're not doing anything to affect anybody else be so negative against their choices? And it wore on her, and so it ended. So I mean, there was a lot of self-reflection, because we were together for over 3 years, the three of us, and I was married to her for, I think at that time, like 12 years or something at that time. So I mean, it was kind of one of those self-reflection moments where we all just kind of took a break and said, hey, look, we all just need to step back here and kind of figure out what it is we want.
How did you end up leaving your ex-wife? And no offense to Brenda, but why did you choose who you chose? Or how did that happen? How did you end up with Brenda, not going back to your ex-wife and breaking up with Brenda, kind of?
I don't know if I don't really want to say
Okay.
her, so I don't want.
No problem.
That happened that was kind of the end.
Okay. And do you think if you lived in a more like you were in Texas living, it was more of a lot more religious people. If you lived in a more progressive or like New York City, or say somewhere where religion wasn't as a vital importance of society, would it be different for your ex-wife if they were more accepting? Do you think you'd all still be together?
Yeah. So actually, we were living in Alabama at the time. So.
Okay.
That's worse.
Even more religious. Yeah.
But actually in Texas, I gotta say, I mean, we have had nothing but support in Texas. We're back in Houston now, and we were living in Dallas right before this, and we've had no issues whatsoever.
People are open-minded. Okay, that's nice.
Everybody's great. So if it was then, I think it probably would have been different.
Yeah,
a different environment.
We get along with her great right now.
Yeah.
We even joke about it sometimes, like, it could have worked out, and maybe it could have if you were in a different setting.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so your relationship is good. Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, you got a pup? No worries. Brenda, I'm interested, like Justine and I have had conversations. We're both married, and no offense, Steven, men can be very burdensome and a lot of work. So like we've joked around like, man, it makes sense. Like, multiple women supporting one man. It's almost like what you need to get through. Like, what's the appeal for you of polygamy and like having another wife in the family? Like, I know you've mentioned a best friend a lot. Is that really important to you, or like what made you see the appeal?
Yeah, having that connection, that communication when it was with her, with the ex-wife and myself. And then, I mean, I have had experienced that aspect with other people that we've dated, where it's just like, you're just so connected and you could just be there for each other and actually depend on them. Like, yeah, I know if people are like, well, just find your own friends outside of your marriage. And I completely understand that. And I do have friends outside of my marriage, but I can't depend on them because they have their own lives to live. They have their own kids, their own husbands. I can't be like, hey, so-and-so, can you come over and help or anything?
Their own perspective too, right? I mean, if Brenda and I are arguing and it's Brenda's friend and she goes, no, Steve's being an ass, they're going to be like, yeah, Steve is being an ass. right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's somebody within the relationship, they can look at it as more objectively of like, hey, you know, yeah, he is, but maybe, and they can give a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just that I don't know, that connection, like we can go out and do something, or we could just be on the couch. She could be reading, I could be watching something on Netflix. Like, it's just so much easier. And if I'm like feeling good this morning, then she takes care of the kids or helps Steve with, you know, his clothes, or, you know, off to work. So, I mean, it just makes it like you have more time for yourself and you're just more healthier mentally. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you're just happier.
What's the most important qualities for you, Brenda, like in a partner, the next person you bring in? Like, I know in your conversations with April, it seemed really important, like to have that open line of communication. Like, do you guys align on what's important to you for the next person you bring in?
Yeah, communication, I think, and the openness to this type of lifestyle. I know for like April, it was very new and she is young, and I feel like we did connect. And at that moment with the filming, I feel like we were just going through those like growing pains in relationships where we're trying to figure out and, you know, try to, you know, see what everybody's needing, because it is important for everybody to feel like they're getting what they want and also giving what they're supposed to for each individual relationship. So it is the openness and that communication, I feel, that helps, especially between the girls, because yes, we are sharing a husband and we have to have that trust and be able to be not awkward or, you know, that jealousy. So once you're at that closeness, I feel like all of that just doesn't matter anymore. Like, I'm happy to see them together and she's happy to see us together. So it's very important, I think.
Did it take a while to not be jealous, or are you just not a jealous person? Like, did you ever find yourself being like, oh, like if he went out with April by herself, like feeling away, or like you have no jealousy?
No, I feel like if the person, I feel like if we weren't connected, then yeah, I'll be like,
jealousy is natural. Right? I mean, it's what you do after you have that feeling.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go crazy about it, but I'll like talk to Steve and be like, hey, I felt this type of way. And if, you know, with her, like, hey, I felt this. And it's like, okay, they talk to me and it's like, okay, cool, we're better now. So it's just sometimes you feel a certain emotion, but once you vent it out and actually like have that clear thought and, you know, hear it out loud, like it does help to minimize those feelings.
Where did you meet April, or how do you meet potential wives?
Well, I mean, we were on dating sites before. It's kind of hard because, I mean, honestly, as far as we know, there's not a place to go to look specifically for people that are looking for this kind of relationship.
I was wondering if there was like a polygamous dating website.
There should be.
There should be.
And I mean, I think there are some, but there's just no traction there with it. So you get a lot of people that are interested, right? That are curious. And I mean, maybe at one point it would be okay, but now it's a lot of work to go you get that emotional connection with somebody, and then they're like, nah, it's not for me. Like, well, hold on, we put so much into it and
spending time. Yeah,
it's like really dating as a single person too.
You gotta do it all over again. Do you guys have rules when Steven and like when you guys are dating somebody, or how do you decide what's comfortable for each of you?
I mean, there's really no rules per se. I mean, because you can't really put guidelines on dating. I mean, that's not really fair to the people involved. But I mean, there is respect, right? So I mean, I'm not going to do something that's disrespectful to Brenda, just like I would, you know, expect the same thing from her. So I mean, we know what's right and we know what is wrong with what the other person does, and that's how we kind of live it.
You know, Brenda, you brought up us women, us aging, and men, they can spread their seed a lot longer than us women, which is a bummer. So at what age do you think it is going to be like a cutoff if you don't meet someone, or I guess it depends on who you get with? Just if say Steven if you guys brought in someone and they had a baby and you were past that in life, do you guys have that conversation and maybe have a vasectomy? Not to be crazy, but I would really.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to expand on that end. Like, I know some families do for religious purposes is to procreate, and that's amazing. But yeah, because of our age and because we love to travel, have that flexibility. I mean, we're not looking for having children, but I mean,
yeah,
if it happens, I mean, then we're open to, you know, stepping up and being happy about it.
yeah. And with April, I mean, she was so young. Did you guys have any hesitations about her age and just like her maturity level to step into your relationship, or she seemed more mature?
Well, I think the first time that we actually met her in person, we were both surprised because I think I said it on the show too. She was one of the first people that we've ever met that didn't just have a list of questions to ask. And that's it's really annoying all the time when you go on a date and they have the same questions that you've heard 3,000 times from everybody.
Yeah.
She didn't.
Yeah.
She just was kind of go with the flow and just saw what was going. And that was kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the age thing really, to be honest with you, we've never, ever,
it didn't affect
ever
us. Yeah.
thought about it or brought it up until I think the last time they filmed, and then they asked about it. And of course, they threw it at the beginning of the series. So
yeah. Did you meet her parents?
I did.
Yeah. I actually, I
Yeah.
went out with them. Her older sister has her nephew, so they invited me to his birthday party. So I went with her sister, her mom, the other grandma. So I mean, I've been out with them, and then the mom actually came over and came over to talk to us at the condo too, with April there. Her sister, her older sister too. She was the first one we met. We actually made home cooked meal, lasagna, and everything. Made everything perfect, and I mean, they were fine. I mean, they were great people.
That's good. Yeah. What do you like? How do you, I guess, when people, like the hate that your ex-wife dealt with, where people are saying like your lifestyle's wrong and like all of those comments, what do you say to people when they say that to you? Or if you hear those, like, what's the response that you would give in defense of your lifestyle?
What do I want to say, or what do I say?
Yeah. No, this is a safe space. Say what you want to say.
No, I mean, obviously we get all that now too on all the groups of threads and Twitter and Reddit, all that. They're all, miserable people out there that want to tear you down for whatever reason. But I know contrary, it's to what it seems like is we're on the show. We're very private people and really don't care what anybody else has their own opinion. That's fine. If you don't agree with it, that's okay. I'm sure there's aspects of everybody's life that we don't agree with. So
yeah. And how about when it comes from like that scene with your daughter? I mean, I was actually really impressed that she felt comfortable like saying what she wanted to say to you. But what are the conversations like with your kids when they, especially your daughter? How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, she's a teenage girl, right? So
yes.
I mean, that means one day she feels one way and the other day you feel an X. In fact, I mean, about that, it was very, I'm not going to lie. I mean, of the entire series, that is the most real part of all the filming right there, because that was not expected. I did not expect her to say those things. I was, so it really was in the moment. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough hearing that, right?
Yeah.
And knowing if that's how she feels, I don't want my daughter to say things like, you have to choose either, your wife or me, or I'm not going to see you if you continue doing this. Spoiler alert, I do see her all the time still. So I mean, that's not what happens, but it is tough. But I mean, we have to listen to them and we have to respect and try to understand what they're saying. But at the end of the day, they're still, our kids, and we have to do what we believe is best for the family. And whether they agree with that today or not, that's kind of what we got to be the adults, I guess.
Yeah. And did you have to get your ex-wife's like sign off for the kids to be on the show? Like, did they know they were filming and they were comfortable with it and all of those pieces?
Yeah, they're both underage, so she had to sign off on the kids being on the show too. And the kids, we let them decide if they wanted to be on the show or not as well.
Are they dealing with a lot of crap from the social media and things?
Well, I guess after today's episode, there's a little bit more out there that these.
Oh, they're on tonight again.
These really, I don't even know how to describe these people that are out there.
Trolls.
Yeah, I mean, worse than that, because they're attacking like the looks of a 16-year-old girl, and
she's so cute. And Preston was hilarious.
I know.
Preston, how was your day, Preston? It was a great.
He had the best time. He loved everything. I love boys. They're so
loves
easy.
the soup.
Yeah, Preston loved it. He was
hilarious.
Yeah,
he's a great kid. Yeah, they're both great kids, and I mean, they're super smart. Jaden's even tested as gifted. I mean, they're amazing kids. But yeah, they're teenagers, and you know, it's
Yeah.
And you've known
So your
them
relationship
since they were
is
little, yeah.
like,
or
I
80
assume this
I
is,
met them.
oh, okay. Wow. So a long time. So like your relationship is good. You feel like, I mean, this was a natural kind of hiccup and kind of, you know, that you go through with teenagers.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it. I mean, everybody wants to put everything on polygamy in the lifestyle, right? But a lot of people get divorced. And when you go through a divorce and your mother or your father are bringing new people into the relationship, you're not going to like them, right? It's obvious. I don't blame them for that. It's a natural feeling again. So, I mean, this isn't unique to this kind of relationship. The unique aspect was we were on camera when she decided to bring some things up. But the feelings are no different than if it was just a monogamous relationship and we're talking about her mother not being in the room anymore. It's
yeah.
You know?
Do you think the kids even knew that you were in a relationship when it was the three of you? Were they too young to realize it, or they just thought Brenda was a close friend? What did you say? Did they ever ask any questions?
They never asked any questions. So I mean, it was just Brenda's here all the time. And it was,
Wow.
It's interesting. Kids can just adapt. Yeah. It's,
I mean, at that age, what are you supposed to say? Hey, you know,
like explain marriage and
much for their minds. As we got older, and when Steve and I were together, we did let them know. But again, we didn't give like the details of like the relationship when it was all three of us. So I mean, it's a tough subject to talk about with kids.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's hard for them to understand it. And for like your jobs, did most people know that you were in a polygamous relationship, or did the show, I don't know, Brenda, if you said you're at home or working, but do your coworkers look at you different, you think, now and say, oh my gosh, Steven's really, who knew?
No, well, with me, I mean, I work from home now. But when I was dating them, I did have some coworkers. They're like, I just saw you on TV. Like, that is so cool. And I mean, they don't really think anything like off about it or anything. They just think it's cool that they know somebody that comes out on TV now.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So everybody's fine. My family too. I told my immediate family, but I didn't tell like cousins and like I didn't tell everybody. Yeah, they've been reaching out and they're like, oh, you know, why
you're on TV.
Do you get paid?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Do you get paid to be on the show?
Yeah, I mean, we do get paid.
Good.
Oh, they do pay you, both of you.
Yeah, they got it. It's work.
Okay.
Right? It's like,
I mean, it's
go ahead.
hours and hours. I mean, I bet you just for the couch interviews, I mean, we probably spent over 100 hours, 120 hours sitting on.
Oh my God.
$99 IKEA futon that we're sitting on.
God. Yes. And where is it? Like the couches. Do they fly you in somewhere or do they come to you?
No, they come to us.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my God.
Have you met other couples from the show?
We've met. No, we haven't met.
Not in person, but we FaceTime because it's like you're going through this, like, you know,
together
on the show and everything. Like, how do you deal with the attention? How do you respond to people? So things like that. So we did connect with one of the couples. And I mean, they're amazing people. Like we're trying to figure out when we can meet them like in person.
Yeah. Who's your favorite, like that you enjoy watching?
Who do you want to meet up with?
Yeah. Who would be your number one? You're going on an island.
Yeah. All time since the show started. I mean, for me, it would be the Aldridges. They weren't on
Aldridges,
season. Yeah. I mean, they were great just because, I mean, we look at them and Brenda will say, like, you don't know who's the first wife and who's the second. Like, that is so cool that they are so comfortable with each other that it's just, it's at ease.
And that's what, like, I want. Like, I had to, like, research and, like, who's the first wife, who's the second wife. Because, I mean, they just flowed so well together. I mean,
is that against human nature, though, do you think? Like a lioness in her pack, would she let some other lioness come in and be equal? I don't know. It's very fascinating. I could never, like, you know, we don't judge you. We think it's great, whatever, to each their own. But yeah.
Do you think certain people, I guess Justine's too nuts for this, right? Like, do you think certain people don't have the constitution and kind of like the makeup to survive in a plural relationship? Or do you think it's just mindset?
No,
you think,
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Would you be okay
yeah.
with it, Stephen, you think, knowing if Brenda was in the other room with another guy?
Yeah, and that's interesting that gets brought up all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is so sexist that this relationship is this way.
Yeah,
And
I've said that.
yeah.
It's interesting that it is very more that way. Yeah.
It's like man dominated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, and even in the show, I think they asked, I asked Brenda, would you want another man in the relationship? Yeah. And like, it's just like you, right? I mean, I don't know your sexual orientation, but let's say you're straight and someone would ask you, well, would you be okay if a woman was in bed with you? You're like, well, no, because I don't.
Right.
Right. You're not attracted to him. You're right.
Yeah. So the same kind of thing is with Brenda. She's like,
yeah,
we just don't want to.
I have Steven. I love him to death, but I don't think I could handle two men. Because
I was just gonna say,
no, we wouldn't want it either, right? I think that's why.
Yes.
That's what we say too. Yeah,
it's a lot of work, and I'm just like, I can't even imagine having two men, and this is different. The sisterhood is a lot. There's more benefits to me to have a sisterhood than to have two husbands.
This is a weird question, but not to be gross, does your period sync up with your sister wife when you've been around her a lot?
Great question.
It does.
It does. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's like a comedy.
It happens so quickly too.
Really? Wow.
Fascinating.
Man, good luck, Stephen, during that time.
Yeah, I know, right? He leaves 1 week a month.
Yeah.
Mysteriously travel for a week.
Wow.
So are you guys currently dating?
We are. Yeah, we're dating.
Are you dating one person or you're just kind of playing the field, if you will?
No, I mean, we are dating two people right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Are you open to like bringing on multiple people at the same time? Or are you really trying to like one and then the next? Like, what's your kind of philosophy for expanding your family?
I don't know, because like for me, it's always been three people.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And Brenda has tried for years and years and years to be like, no, 4 is the magic number. 4 is the magic
Oh,
I think it is a magic number too. Yeah.
You think 4?
The whole buddy system.
Yes. Yeah.
If they're out, like, I don't want to be by myself.
Right.
No one's ever left out.
Yeah. So you always have somebody to be with.
But that's I think a point that gets lost in this too. I mean, I can only speak for our story. I can't speak for other stories. But in our relationship, the woman has always really taken the lead of how the family grows.
Right.
It's not, I don't choose, right? I mean, if there's no compatibility between Brenda and the other person, the relationship doesn't go on. It's not that I can force something to happen there. I mean, that is really where it starts.
And that's what we were talking to with the other couple was like, like she is the one that kind of guides and, kind of filters the women that come in before they come to her husband. And that's the same way with us. Like when we're dating, we always try to have at least the first few meets with both of us. So we know like, okay, they know it's not him doing it on the side. They see me, it's all good.
Right.
And then moving forward, I actually have the most one-on-one time with them. And Steve sees them like, I don't know, twice a month, probably one-on-one.
Okay.
Group dates.
Oh, wow.
So Brenda, you're like the lead recruiter, and then like the second screening goes.
You're George
Stephen.
Steinbrenner.
Yeah, interesting.
Hold on. So you guys, you two are legally married.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you ever do
a
situation
work down the road, 10 years down the road?
you got specific questions. Would you ever do what Garrick and Danielle did, where they like got divorced to bring somebody else in? Like, have you guys ever thought about something like that?
I couldn't do that. I mean,
okay.
I could tell even on the show, like just Danielle was just
heartbroken.
Devastated.
I know.
Yeah.
She seems sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems sad. Yeah. Do you guys feel like, have you ever had a conversation that if either of your minds changed, like, would you kind of both step back if somebody didn't feel comfortable, or have you had to discuss that possibility?
Yeah.
It happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. I almost feel like I'm a believer now.
It's like Survivor put the thing in, you just pulls out the,
right?
You're staying.
So what else can we expect to see from your story this season? And follow-up question, would you return?
Yeah. Okay. So first, what else do we got coming down here? So, I mean, like, you know, we film a lot for the few minutes that are on there. There's a lot of stuff that happened during the course of the 9 months that have been that they filmed.
Oh, 9 months. That's a long time.
The winery made it seem like really sad because I'm just like sitting by myself drinking. But
I was gonna say, right.
That was one of the most fun nights that
was.
we had with April, like prior to the show. Like,
so it got a bad edit.
Oh,
yeah,
it made you guys look it made us sad, right? It didn't look like a happy time.
Sad watching it. I was like, that really happened, Brenda? I thought you went to the bathroom.
It's like Brenda's like,
I
go get your
man,
watch.
get out there.
I don't know.
We did that Target challenge. So I didn't want us just to go sit down at I've been wanting to go to a winery and I'm like, let's just not sit there because that's boring. So we did the Target challenge where you buy, you know, your partner, like their favorite color, their favorite drink, their favorite snack, something that you, that makes you think of them and something that you think they need. So we did that for each other. And that's actually what we did at the winery, but you do not.
Oh, fun.
Wow. I'd never heard of that. That's nice.
I haven't heard of that either.
That's a lot of fun.
We don't love her.
We have, so I'm surprised because like, I really think they got all the negativity out now. So I'm hoping like moving forward, they'll start showing the relationship for how it really
realize how much I cried on the show.
Right. They're trying to get dramatic moments like on the bench and stuff. Right.
I mean, it's TV. They're whispering. And in fact, I saw a comment today about you guys never eat your food. We watch you and you sit there. I'm like, I know. That's all I wanted to do was eat.
Well, even during that filming, like when they would break, like we would just be laughing and talking, trying to like nibble little sticks of drinks, and then like, okay, let's get back to the conversation. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah. So would you go on the show again if they asked you to return for another season?
That's tough because I mean, like we said, the reason that we went on it was to kind of show people that you're not alone, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they really took a turn on this season that's kind of dark.
Yeah, this season is very different from the.
It's very sexualized. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it feels like it's very sexualized, and you know, I made one comment the entire time out of the 9 months about that, and of course they played it at the front, and that's what everybody says. And every
what was it?
They asked if I had sex with April, and
right, okay.
This was with us dating at that time. We were dating for about a year.
Oh, it's a long time.
Yeah, and I had said I'd been intimate with her, and then
they made it seem like it was a couple, a little bit.
They put it on the first episode, so it was like we just met and we had done.
Yeah, they're sharks, man.
They are, but it's okay.
I think I think what's the couple, Justine? We love the like purists. I mean, they were religious, but
the Windsors,
the Windsors, like they're the wholesomeness. I mean, I guess it was like it's extreme, but it was also like I agree. There's like a little bit of that's missing from this season.
They got to eat their hot dogs grilled over the fire. They're so sweet.
Yeah, they were on the farm. I loved it because I think to your point, like if I want to like, for me, why I love reality TV is like bring me into something I know nothing about. And so like the more authentic it is like that, the more, you know, we're in.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you should do another season then we can get to know you more.
Yeah.
You know, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time out to talk to us and kind of get behind the scenes a little bit and learn a little bit about who we really are, the unedited version, right? So
I have to say, I've appreciated talking to you both because I think coming into it, like we only saw what was shown on the show, so we weren't sure what we were going to get into, but I can tell that you guys like actually truly are on the same page and like move as a unit, which I think they didn't necessarily show. Again, it seemed like Brenda, you were
tried
over
to divide
here.
it, right?
A lot of the couples, after seeing how they edit and everything, we can see like, okay, how it is and how we reached out to this one couple, and I'm like, wow, like, you know, they're not like that. There's not like how they were portrayed on TV. So it's just, it's nice to get to know people behind the scenes. So we really do appreciate the time that you guys.
Do you feel mad at the producers? Do you feel upset or?
I don't really feel upset with them because we knew what we were getting into.
They're
we knew
it's TV.
We only have a certain amount of control over what happens. So they got to get ratings.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you both. We hope soon we get to see more of your story and hopefully an exciting dating update when when the two that you're working with see what happens. But we wish you guys the best, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And get in touch with us after the season. We'll give the wrap.
Oh yeah, we will.
Right.
We got to circle back. We'll take you up on it.
All right,
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Brenda. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
Bye.